Hello everyone, my name is Alicia. I've been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I've been having a bit of a tough time today, which is bound to happen. So I would like to talk today about what it was like living without a diagnosis and what has changed in my life. I would like to remind myself how far I've come. In Germany, where I live now, every school has a counselor. Every family doctor is qualified to recognize signs of mental illness in their patients. And they will gladly refer you to a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist, or they might even prescribe antidepressants themselves. There is a lot of talk about mental health. There is some on TV and in films. Lectures are being given in schools and workplaces. But unfortunately, in many other countries, that is not the case. There are still places in the world where people don't talk about mental health issues at all. I guess both the government and the mentality of people are such that they kind of pretend that mental illness doesn't exist, or it's limited to very few people who are very visibly distressed and live in institutions. That of course couldn't be further from the truth. As we know, 80% of the Earth's population have suffered from depression at some point in their life. And those people have families, they work, they teach, they make art, they create new technology. They are athletes and doctors, and looking at them, you would probably never suspect how much they were struggling. So, what's it like living without a diagnosis? I felt that there was something wrong with me from a very young age, but no one could see it. I was treated like a normal person and normal things were expected from me. I was smart, I was creative, I was somewhat attractive and fun, and people liked me. I even seemed gifted in some ways, but for some reason I just failed at everything. And I mean everything. I barely finished high school because I would just miss most of the classes. I flunked out of 2 colleges, one of which may be considered very prestigious. I hopped from relationship to relationship and they all failed. I couldn't keep a steady job. I worked as a translator, as a merchandiser, as an assistant, as a dialogue author for a TV series. And in the beginning, I was good at all of those jobs, but as time went by, I sort of stopped performing my duties properly, and I would lose the job, of course. My romantic relationships would start off well, but at some point, I would check out of the relationship emotionally, or I would get angry. I could yell at people. I would break up with them out of the blue because a switch had flipped in my head. And all that time on the inside, I felt this emptiness, like a black hole, and a complete lack of motivation and lust for life, an unbearable loneliness. And the worst of it was when my mother, or my friends, or my exasperated lovers asked me, "Why do you behave in the way you behave?" I couldn't answer them. I didn't know what drove me. I had no idea what I wanted, and I didn't know who I was. As time went by and I made more and more mistakes, I just grew desperate and hopeless. Now, a label doesn't automatically make everything better. That goes without saying. Plus, I didn't get the correct label right away. I was first misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder. But then I saw the diagnostic criteria for BPD, and I realized that I was looking at a list of everything that was wrong with my life, in black and white, in simple words. And it was exhilarating. I thought, wow, this is real. This is an actual disorder, and it's treatable. I was so happy in that moment. I felt like for the first time in years there was hope for me. There was the possibility for forgiveness and the possibility of change. Because I thought if I knew what I needed to change, I was absolutely sure that I could do it. I am actually not that far on the path to recovery yet, but I have done a 2-month DBT program in the hospital, and I've been working very hard since, and I have noticed many changes in my life. First of all, I have learned to recognize when it's my disorder talking. There is so much chatter in my head all the time, and so much of it is negative. It is quite exhausting. But just knowing that I don't have to take it as gospel is such a relief. I am now in a pretty healthy relationship, I think for the first time in my life. And I realize now that I'm not just a helpless bystander in it. Whether this relationship lasts or fails, it also depends on me because I make up for half of it. My relationships with my relatives have gotten better as well. I have had the same job for 2 years and I'm crushing it. To be fair, it's not that hard, but it is an achievement for me, especially because I had to learn a new language along the way. And though I still have my lows, like today, and I probably always will, I am crawling towards becoming a more positive person. You know, life is tough. We all get screwed by it. We all suffer sometimes, but it is up to me what I want to concentrate on in my life. And believe me, I know how annoying it is when you are depressed to hear, oh, just try and be more positive. Just be happier. It is an insensitive thing to say that shows a lack of understanding and involvement. But, annoying as it may be, there is some truth to it. We can influence what we focus on to some extent. It takes some getting used to, but it is possible. Imagine a path in the woods. It exists because people have been walking along it for quite a while. And when you come into the woods and you see that like on this side there is a clear path and on the other side there's just wild undergrowth, thicket, you will probably take the path, right? Because it's easier and you know that it leads somewhere or it wouldn't be there, right? Same goes for our negative thoughts. They just keep going along the same path again and again, and the path becomes more and more distinct because we know where this is going. But if we want to create a new path, then we have to go into that thicket and push through that wild undergrowth. It's going to be hard and messy in the beginning, but as time goes by, we will find ourselves facing two paths instead of one. We will have a choice. Follow the negative one that we know so well, that we know absolutely for sure where it leads to. Or this new path that we have created for ourselves that is a bit more positive and that may lead to something new. I have missed many opportunities in life, but I still believe that I can do something for the world, even if it's for just a few people. It means a lot to me. I have finally found something that I want to do in life. And even though I have no idea how to go about it yet, it feels that less empty in my heart. Living with an undiagnosed mental illness is so scary, so hard, and very, very dangerous. So if you feel you might need to see a psychiatrist, please do so, and don't let anyone tell you you shouldn't. If you need help of any kind, please seek help. Very few people will understand what you're going through. Even your psychiatrist will struggle with that sometimes. And frustrating as that may be, you should still try and use all of the resources available to you if you're lucky enough to live in a place that has them. Because what you are dealing with is really, really tough, especially if you don't know what it is exactly. So this is it for today. I'll talk to you or rather at you again soon. Bye.